Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about buy here, pay here dealerships. Before we get into this video though, as always, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. And then if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post this content every single day. And then on a side note, a lot of people have been talking about the audio with the videos. The microphone that I have on order to fix that whole situation is still on back order. I don't know why it's taking so long because it's not like it's a super fancy expensive microphone. It's like a $30 microphone, so I might end up ordering another one from a different company if it doesn't come in. But yeah, just a quick update for the channel. Let's get into it. Let's first describe what buy here, pay here dealerships actually are, and then we'll get into whether or not you should actually do business with them. So first off, a buy here, pay here dealership is a dealership that not only sells cars, but they also finance cars. And this is different than regular dealership financing. In a normal dealership financing situation, a dealership will sell you a car and then they will get you financing on the car, but they're not the ones that hold the loan. The entity that actually holds the loan is just a traditional lender, so a bank or a credit union. So the dealership's not actually financing the car for you, they're just sending out the financing to a lender that they work with. Whereas with buy here, pay here dealerships, they are the ones that are actually the entity that's holding the loan. So they're not only the dealership, they're also the bank. Now at this point in the video, you're probably wondering, well, why the heck would dealers even want to get into the financing business? Because that's super risky, right? You are trusting someone with your money and hoping that they're going to pay you back. But here's the deal. If dealers finance cars, they become way more profitable. If you look at the average used car lot, they're making maybe $2,000 to $3,000 per car, which that's not a bad gig. But if they also finance that car, they're making at least double that and sometimes even more, because it's not just interest that they're making money on. They'll also sell warranties on top of that. And yes, traditional dealers do sell warranties and other extended service contracts, but traditional dealers aren't getting that interest charge. So when you take into account those warranties plus the interest charge, the amount of profit that these dealers are able to make is astronomical. It is way more than a used car lot that doesn't do the buy here, pay here model. So that's why these dealers like to do this buy here, pay here model, because they can make so much more money. And another big part of it is the group of individuals that these dealers are typically going after. They are typically going after individuals that don't have really good credit. Typically they have really, really bad credit and cannot get approved anywhere else. That's what you usually see with these buy here, pay here stores, is we approve everyone. And the reason that they approve everyone is they have this kind of like revolving door business model where what they'll do in most cases is they'll finance someone knowing that that person is not going to make all the payments. And sometimes they won't even make a single payment, but they're hoping they'll make at least a couple payments. And so what you'll see with these buy here, pay here stores is they'll finance someone on a really cheap, crappy car. And then that person might make 2 or 3 payments before they default, right? They stop making payments, and then that dealership has to go and repossess that car. Well, that dealer goes, repossesses the car, and they recondition it, and then put it back on their front line, sell it to another person. And that's where the whole revolving door aspect comes in, because they continue to sell these cars over and over again to these people with really bad credit. And they're just hoping to get a few payments on these cars. And so that's where the cash comes in. And yes, they do have customers that will actually make all of their payments, but again, since they're typically working with people that have really bad credit, they're charging extremely high interest rates. We're talking 20-25% in interest. And so if a person makes those payments even on a 1-year loan, typically the loans are in the 3 to 4 to 5 year range, you're talking about thousands and, in most cases, tens of thousands of dollars paid in interest. And so again, you can see to what I just talked about with these dealers being so much more profitable. They're able to make so much money with the whole revolving door aspect, and then also with the insane amounts of interest that they charge to these customers that don't have great credit. Now, it's not all sunshine and rainbows for these buy here, pay here dealerships, because first off, like I said, they will have customers go and purchase cars and never make a single payment on it. And so it's a complete loss for the dealership, because not only do they have to spend the time and money associated with repossessing the car, they also have to spend the time and money associated with reconditioning that car and hoping to sell it to someone else. So that's one downside. The other downside is, sometimes the people that they deal with don't have the best credit because, well, they probably don't have the best criminal record history. And so, yeah, I've heard some crazy stories with these buy here, pay here dealerships where people have come in and done some very sketchy stuff. And so there is also that side of it that isn't exactly the most exciting. Now that you have an idea of what a buy here, pay here dealership is and how they make money, should you buy from them? And I'm going to answer this with a story from when I worked at the car dealership. So I had a customer come in that purchased their vehicle from a buy here, pay here dealership. And they wanted to trade it in because it was having a bunch of mechanical issues and they just couldn't afford to keep it on the road anymore. And they just wanted to get something that was nicer, newer, and more reliable. Now, this person admitted up front that their credit wasn't the greatest and they weren't sure if they were even going to be able to get approved for a new car. So in that situation, what we did is take a look at their credit and then also appraise their vehicle. So this vehicle they wanted to trade in was worth maybe $500. Retail value on it was maybe $1,000, $1,500 on a good day. So it wasn't exactly like a nice, clean, shiny retail piece, and it again wasn't worth a whole lot of money. But we then looked at how much this person owed on this car, and they owed well over $10,000. And the interest rate they had was like over 25%. And so I go and ask the person, like, hey, when did you buy this car? And they're like, oh, I think it was like 6 or 7 months ago. And it's like, okay, so you have had a lot of interest already accrue because it's been 6 or 7 months, but you also massively overpaid for this car, probably with warranties and all that. And so then I asked the person, hey, did you get any warranties or anything? And they're like, yeah, they gave me this whole protection program thing. And I'm just like sitting there, I'm like, man, this person got taken to the cleaners. And so we kind of continue on, and I start talking to some senior people at the dealership that are a little bit more familiar with the buy here, pay here dealership that this person purchased the car from. And this is literally the advice I got. They said, here's the deal. You are not going to be able to get any sort of payoff from this dealership. Yes, there is that thing that's reporting to the credit bureaus, but these dealerships like to play all of these tricks to make it so the payoff is constantly changing and to make it extremely difficult to actually pay off the loan if this person trades in the vehicle. And so the best thing for that person to do is to have their car repossessed. And yes, that is going to make it so their credit is going to get dinged, but their credit was already like completely destroyed. So it wouldn't really make it any worse, and it was a situation where we wouldn't have been able to get them financed with a traditional lender anyways, hence why they probably purchased that car from that buy here, pay here lot. But I think that story really illustrates what happens with people when they purchase from those dealerships. They massively overpay for these cars, and the only way to really get out of the situation is to either have your car repossessed or to pay so much in interest that it just doesn't make any sense. And it's not on good cars. Like most of the cars at these buy here, pay here lots are, again, old, high mileage cars that you don't want to have a car loan on, because chances are you're going to be making a second payment on that car with maintenance costs. Now at this point, I'm sure that I'm going to get some angry emails from people that work at buy here, pay here lots, but here's the deal. I understand that there are some buy here, pay here lots that actually give their customers good deals on not only the financing, but on the cars themselves. And the reason they went to the buy here, pay here model was so they could make a little bit of extra money instead of letting the lending institutions make that money. But they're definitely in the minority, because most buy here, pay here lots exist because they typically want to take advantage of people that don't have great credit, because people that don't have great credit are usually in that situation because they have a spending problem. And that is a perfect recipe for a car dealership to be able to charge someone whatever they want for everything associated with purchasing a car so they can make the most amount of money possible. Now let's cap things off by talking about what you can do as a consumer with this new knowledge of buy here, pay here lots. First off, you can buy cars from a buy here, pay here lot, and you don't have to take their financing. You can get your own financing, or you can pay cash for a car. But again, chances are you're probably not going to find cars in their lots that you actually want, because again, they're trying to target a particular demographic. But hey, sometimes their lots are actually worth looking at because maybe they'll have a car that you have been looking for. Now, when it comes to actually accepting their financing, this is where I would be extremely tentative, and I probably wouldn't do it unless you have read every single item on the contract so you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. Because again, they have these massive contracts. They expect you to not read them so that you don't know what you're getting yourself into and realize that you are pretty much selling your soul to the devil. I mean, not literally, but kind of. So just read everything. And again, I kind of err on the side of I just wouldn't do it. I would much rather pay cash or just work with a traditional lender where things are just a little bit more like sensical, if that makes sense, right? Because all the stuff that I saw working at the car dealership was just not great with the buy here, pay here lots. Like, I didn't have a single customer that purchased from one of those lots that I was actually able to help out with getting a new car, because they were so decimated in those cars. Again, they had tons of negative equity, and there were all of these stipulations on these buy here, pay here loans that just made it so these people were, again, like I said, basically chained to that dealership. Like, they sold their soul to purchase that car. So that's just my take on it. Let me know what you guys think about buy here, pay here lots, if you think that it's worth it or not, and I'll see ya.